We finally have all the details about the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2. Well, most of them. Nintendo just finished a big hour-long live stream about the new device. Here's all of the information you need to know. They started the show with Mario Kart World. This new entry in the series will feature boats, planes, and even wall riding. It's also the first open-world Mario Kart, as you can now drive off the tracks and will have to do so to get to the next race. Time of day and weather effects will also affect the environment and how the courses feel. Mario Kart World will be getting its own Nintendo Direct livestream on April 17th and will launch alongside the console. They confirmed that the Joy-Con controllers will connect magnetically to the system itself. They also highlighted the new C button found on the right Joy-Con. Pressing it opens GameChat, a new chat room for the system. You'll be able to see your friends alongside the bottom of your screen while you play. And if you have screen sharing enabled, you can even see their gameplay, although with a really low frame rate. The size of your friend's screen can also be adjusted and even removed entirely if you just want their voices while you're gaming. This led into our first accessory for the new console, the Nintendo Switch 2 camera, a USB-C camera and mount that was shown propped up next to the TV. With this, you can have a video feed of yourself pop up alongside the shared gameplay when in GameChat. In the live stream, we saw this plugged into the top of the Switch 2 while it was docked, giving reason for why the console has multiple USB-C ports. The camera will also be available at launch, but GameChat requires a Nintendo Switch Online subscription to use. However, they're offering a trial run of the feature for free for everyone until March 2026. GameShare was shown next, and it's basically DS Download Play brought back. With this, you can own one copy of the game and share a version of it locally with other Switches. Those additional players will also be able to play online with you. It only works for select games, and if it's anything like DS Download Play, those additional players will only have a limited version of the game to use. For example, you can game share Mario Kart, but you probably won't be able to drive anywhere, unlock anything, and will just be limited to the Grand Prix that the game's owner selects to play. The Nintendo Switch 2 will have a larger screen than the first, increasing from 6.2 inches up to 7.9, but retain the same thickness. This doubles the pixels. It's a 1080p LCD screen that supports HDR and a 120 frame rate. It is a bummer that we no longer have an OLED option, but I'm sure that's coming in a few years. They've also increased the size of the SL and SR buttons, which will be better for when you're using a single Joy-Con to game. Nintendo confirmed that the Joy-Cons can both be used for mouse controls. They highlighted this feature by announcing Drag X Drive, a wheelchair basketball game where each Joy-Con controls one of the wheels. It comes out summer of this year. The analog sticks are larger and the speakers have been improved. It will have 256 gigabytes of storage, which is a much needed upgrade from the first one, and it will support only micro SD express cards if you're wanting to expand. The new dock features a fan for cooling and also has 4K and HDR support. The game cards are also the same shape, but now red, and have faster data read speeds. There will be a tech demo / museum-like game at launch called Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Here you can walk around and tour the system, explaining things like how the Joy-Con magnets work with animated graphics. It seems like a fun little tech demo, which makes it kind of wild that Nintendo is going to charge money for this. Typically you'd expect this as a free add-on, kind of like Astrobot on the PS5. There's also a new Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. It features the new C button, as well as two back buttons titled GR and GL. It also now has a 3.5mm audio jack. Nintendo spent the next half of the show talking about the games coming. It started with Nintendo Switch 2 Edition titles, which are games that came out on the first console, but now with graphics enhancements and bonuses. The first example was Super Mario Party Jamboree. This title is coming with the Jamboree TV mode on July 24th. It will feature mouse and mic controlled games. It will also support the Switch 2 camera so you can see your friends' faces. It also features improved visuals. This is when Nintendo introduced the upgrade pack. For all of these Switch 2 Edition games, you will have to purchase the new features separately. However, Nintendo never mentioned what this price will be. PlayStation has done a similar system for a lot of its upgraded games from the PS4 to the PS5, and those were always $10, so we can look at that as a guess. Other Switch 2 Edition games included Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, both now with better resolution and frame rate, and HDR support. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is getting an additional story. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond will have mouse support as well as two graphics options: 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, or 1080p resolution at 120 frames per second. We also got a montage of partner titles coming to the Switch 2, which included games such as Elden Ring, Hades 2, Split Fiction, and the newly announced Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. This is a prequel title to Tears of the Kingdom coming out this winter. Most interesting was the announcement of The Duskbloods, a new title from Software, the developers behind Demon's Souls and Elden Ring. This is coming exclusively to the Switch 2 in 2026. Nintendo Switch Online is also getting an upgrade, specifically to the more expensive Expansion Pack tier. GameCube support will be there at launch and exclusive to the Switch 2. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX will be there, with more games to come later. Alongside this was the confirmation of the new GameCube controller for Switch 2, which will feature the new C button. Nintendo finished by announcing 2 new titles. The first is Kirby Air Riders, a sequel to the original GameCube title. No real details about the game were discussed, but it is coming out this year. They also showed off a lot of gameplay of the new Donkey Kong Bonanza, which looks really great. It'll be open world, involve a lot of DK burrowing into the ground and throwing huge rocks around. That's coming out on July 17th. Now let's talk about release info. The Switch 2 is launching on June 5th and can be purchased either separately or with a digital version of Mario Kart World. And even though we're only 2 months away from launch, Nintendo didn't give a price point in the live stream, which is pretty wild. We learned after that the console will be around $450, or if you want it bundled with Mario Kart World, $500. They also didn't give any kind of pricing information for their games. Typically, Switch games have been $60, with Tears of the Kingdom being bumped up to $70. Most AAA games run for $70 on the other platforms, so this leaves a pretty big question on where Nintendo's head is at. Unlike the last Switch 2 livestream, we weren't given a new date for the next one, so it remains to be seen when we'll be getting this last bit of information. For right now, look forward to the Nintendo Treehouse streams as they deep dive into the new games on April 3rd and April 4th, as well as that Mario Kart World Direct on April 17th. As for pre-ordering the console, many retailers will begin taking them on April 9th, so get ready for that. But now I want to hear from you. Are you excited about the new console? Are you getting it on day one? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.